And welcome back to Capitol Review. We continue our coverage on former President Donald Trump being found guilty on all charges in his hush money trial. But what does that mean for the upcoming election? Joining Capitol Review is Larry Sabato. He's the director for the Center of Politics for the University of Virginia. Professor, welcome back.
Thank you so much.
Your thoughts about the verdict and the former president's trial, and then what does it mean for Virginia and the rest of the country moving forward?
In a nutshell, I don't think it's ever good for anybody when they're found guilty of felonies. And I can't imagine anybody being happy about it. So whatever Donald Trump is saying, the reality is this is not a good thing for him personally, and I don't think it's a good thing politically overall. Of course, it helps him with his base, and his base will probably give more money. His base is angrier than they even were before. All that's good for him, but a couple of percent, and that's all it is, but a couple of percent of Americans who were on the fence, hard to believe anybody's on the fence, but they're a couple percent, and they were leaning to Trump, and they keep going back and forth or thinking about a third-party candidate. They're at least a little less likely to vote for Trump. Some of them may have switched. Now, whether that'll hold all the way to their vote from late September to early November, that's another question. But on the whole, it's not good for Donald Trump.
Professor, you recently spoke about that presidential poll in Virginia. Does the verdict change things? Does the verdict make that poll obsolete?
I didn't really believe the numbers when they were released, but this is the time to make an important point about polling. You see how ephemeral polls are? It's released one day, and the very next day, one of the candidates is found guilty of 34 felonies, and there's going to be some change, 2 or 3 or 4%. I don't know what it will be, but it makes the earlier poll obsolete. That's true for the national polls you've seen. People think these numbers are written into the wall, the stone wall of a mountain. They're sand castles right at the ocean's edge. One good wave wipes them all away.
You said recently that if President Trump could win Virginia, that would really be a huge for his run for the White House. Do you think the verdict impacts whatever chances you felt that maybe he had?
Well, I didn't consider Virginia a swing state to begin with, and I still don't. I think there's more reason to suggest it isn't a swing state now with the conviction. But look, here's the practical political side of it. If Virginia is even really competitive in the fall, if you see polls where Biden's leading 2 or 3 points, 4 points, something like that, the election's over. Trump has already won. Because if Virginia is that close, it tells me that the swing states, maybe not all of them, but most of them, are already in Trump's camp. Now, I don't think that will be the case, but if it is, then you'll know how to interpret the Virginia vote in the national context.
Does this race still come down to the small percentage of undecided voters that you talk about? And Professor, in your opinion, do undecided voters really exist these days? Have you ever talked to one in recent years?
I actually have. Of course, no one talks to me about the weather or sports. They only ask me questions about politics. So I would have the opportunity to talk with some of these people, and I have. There aren't that many of them, but there are people who, see pluses and minuses on both sides, and, more power to them. There aren't many, but let's not forget, this isn't just about switching votes of voters who've already decided to participate. This is about who votes. There are some voters who are going to be turned off and just not vote at all. There are going to be other voters who will move, say, from Trump to a third-party candidate. They're not going to vote for Biden. They're not going to vote for Trump. They'll pick a third-party candidate, but it disproportionately affects one of the 2 major party candidates, depending on who they are. So there are a lot of moving pieces in any election, and especially this election.
Professor Larry Sabato, thank you very much for joining us.
You're more than welcome. Enjoyed it.
Meanwhile, President Joe Biden reacted to the former president's conviction Friday ahead of him speaking on the Middle East.
It's dangerous. It's irresponsible for anyone to say this was rigged just because they don't like the verdict. Our justice system has endured for nearly 250 years. And it literally is the cornerstone of America, our justice system. The justice system should be respected